Hello, hello, 'tis I, Julian Greystoke. Now I know that I recently posted on my community tab that I'm like super busy this month and I am working on reading, hang on, this Oro's section of the Dueling Crowns novella, duology, whatever you want to call it. So I didn't have a lot of time to put out videos, but it's December, which is the best time to get videos out if you want to make a little bit of money with AdSense. Super annoying, but I'm like, I gotta do something. I gotta get like a little bit extra out for December, even if I don't really have time. And I had this fun idea of what if we rank all of the love interests from the read-alongs that we've done so far. By we, I mean me. I rank. I don't have time to poll the audience. So I rank, and then you argue about my ranking in the comments. You see how this works? This is great. So like, I get to put out a video, you get to tell me I'm wrong. It's the most fun that we could possibly have this holiday season. If you're new here, if you've just stumbled across this, I do this series called read-alongs, which are not what you normally think of when you think of a read-along. We go through a book like this one. We go through the entire Lightlark series, by the way, including this, and we pick it apart in a fun way. It's funny, it's fun and funny, but also educational because I am an author and a developmental editor, so I can use these books as a jumping off point to help us figure out what we can do to make our books better, more original, not be lazy about using our tropes, that sort of thing. So we can find out what these authors are maybe doing wrong and what they're doing well and apply it to our own writing. So in these books, because I read a lot of like romantasy-esque books, although there are some that are not, there are often love interests who are guys who are often identical and also war criminals. I have made a spreadsheet and chosen my ranking based on 3 things. They'll each be given a number score, 1 to 10, in that category, and then from there I will figure out their final score, add that all up, and give them the final score to figure out who is our best boy and who is our worst boy. The categories are appearance. This one is 1 to 10 appearance, and that is how identical are they to all of the other love interests that we see in these romantasy books, although some of these books are not romantasy. But how identical are these love interests? So a 1 would be not identical at all, and a 10 would be if you took him out of his book and put him into a different one, no one would be able to tell because they look that similar. All right? Next is personality. On the scale of 1 to 10, a 1 would be fairly original, not terribly horrible, maybe even kind of pleasant personality. And a 10 would be the same damn grumpy, broody, flat personality that all of these romantasy boys seem to have. Identical. All right? And last, we have crimes, which is fairly self-explanatory. 1 would be has committed basically no crimes at all. And 10 is, well, you'll see, because a few of these boys scored 10s in the crimes category. So now, I haven't used all of the boy characters in all of my read-alongs because there's not romance in all of them. And some of them are not romantasy, so we'll see where those boys fall into this ranking. The boys are, I'm looking over here at my spreadsheet, so that's why I'm looking off screen all the time. The boys are Tobias from the Savior series, Dex from Zenith, James from The Program, Bastian from Cyborg Tinkerer, Gadriel from A Night in Its Moon, Grimm from Lightlark, Oro from Lightlark. All the Zodiac boys lumped together from Zodiac Academy. Those boys are so identical that I didn't even give them their own categories. It's just all of them. They are the same man wearing different shirts. Different, incredibly tight shirts. Zayden from Fourth Wing, Kai from Powerless, and Cross from Silver Elite. Those are our boys so far for this challenge that we are looking at.
You probably noticed that I'm using some art for this to represent the boys if you're actually watching this instead of just listening to it while you do chores. Either option is fine, but I will do my damnedest to link all of the artists below in the doobly-doo. So if you are interested in whoever created any of this art, please go down and find those links.
Now, I will only be grading them on the books that I have read. For example, I have not read the whole Powerless series. So if Kai has, like, growth, I doubt it, but if he has growth within that series, too bad I'm only judging him on book 1. Book 1 Kai, same for Cross in Silver Elite. I don't care if he turns out to be the most amazing character in the later books, because I have only read book 1. If that bothers you, then perhaps this is not the video for you, because we're just here to have some silly haha fun times. Please do not take this too seriously. If you are here taking my boy ranking video very seriously, I don't know. I'd say touch grass, but there's no grass outside. It's winter. Touch snow. Maybe have a nice snowball fight. Make a snowman. You'll feel better. All right. So those are our boys, and those are our criteria. So now I will go through. I have given them all their points, and I will go through, and I have them in order from best boy to worst boy. Best boy being least identical and least objectionable. So doesn't look and act like everybody else, and has done the least crime. Now, crime doesn't just mean stuff that they could be, like, jailed for. Crime also means just being a dick in general. Like, how dickish are they? So, at the bottom, the winner of Best Boy, I figured we'd go best to worst because it's always fun to do the worst one last to reveal, like, who is the worst boy. But the best boy, according to the arbitrary points that I have bestowed, is Bastian from the Cyborg Tinkerer. I know. Now, granted, this is my memory of Bastian. I did not go back and reread all of these books to make sure that I got these boys 100% accurate. But Bastian, let's look over here at his scores. Bastian got a 2 for appearance. He does not look a lot like the other boys. He's actually kind of slim. And he's not, like, described as super tall, as that I can remember. He's, like, tall, but not, like, 7 foot tall, like all of these other guys. And he's not a solid wall of muscle. He also got a 2 for personality. While he still does behave a little bit like these obnoxious grumpy boys, it is not nearly as bad as most of them. Like, he actually maybe kind of has slightly his own personality. And finally, for crimes, I gave him a 0 because the crimes that he commits, as far as I can remember within the story, are while he's being mind-controlled by the villain. So this boy is actually not doing that many crimes, like, at all. Like, the worst he does is, like, be a little bit obnoxious to the main character, which I feel like the level of obnoxious that he is mostly because the main character is kind of a jerk. If she was a little bit more thoughtful and maybe paused and looked for reasons for things, he might not even be a jerk at all. So, yeah, best boy, Meg Latour, you did it. You wrote best boy, Bastian, from the Cyborg Tinkerer. Everybody, round of applause, round of applause. I'm only going with boys, by the way. I know that a couple of these books have ladies as romantic interests as well, but they don't tend to fall into the heavy stereotypes that the boys tend to fall into these days. So they are being excluded for the moment. Next up on the list, next best boy, getting slightly worse than Bastian, we have Dex from Zenith. Let's look at Dex's scores. So Dex scored a 6 on appearance. He does lean towards a stereotypical appearance, but not too bad. Like, he's a little bit far, but he's definitely not hyper tall or a wall of muscle. He is sort of ambiguously brown, though. So a lot of these guys are ambiguously brown, and he is that. So he got a 6 from me. His personality, though, got a 2 because as I recall, he's not these, like, super emo gruff boys who never have feelings ever. He pretends to be, he tries to be, but in reality, what we actually see from him is, like, the opposite of that. So, like, he tries, and that got him a 2, but 2 is all he gets, because really, we all know that he's actually kind of just an adorable idiot, and I love that for him. And finally, his crimes are a 1, because I don't think he really did any crimes. I mean, he did crimes according to the letter of the law within the book, because they're like pirates, aren't they? But I don't recall, and maybe you can correct me in the comments, that's the fun of it, is telling Julian why she's wrong in the comments. I don't remember him being particularly objectionable at all. Like, a little bit of a jerk sometimes, but not, like, the other characters are way more jerky than him. He's just there for the vibes mostly, as I recall. You can correct me. So his score was pretty low there as well, so he is our second bestest boy. Next on the list, again with my arbitrary ranking, we have Tobias from the Savior series. Let's look at Toby's scores. Tobias got a 6 for appearance. He does lean more heavily into the stereotype of what these boys look like, but he's not extra, extra tall or extra, extra muscular. He just is fairly tall and more muscular than he should be for the job that he has. He's also ambiguously brown. He's got most of the look, but he's not quite there. So he gets a little bit higher than a 5. He's a 6. Personality is a 2. Tobias really does not act like a lot of these stereotypical boys. We'll see how he behaves in this upcoming book, because I know that Jenna has been leaning harder into her books being quote-unquote romantasy, even though I would argue that they are not. But whatever she wants to market her books as. So we'll see if she starts to lean into making Tobias a lot more like these stereotypical guys that weren't as popular when the first Saviors book came out. And finally, for crimes, Tobias gets a 3. He's a little bit ruthless when it comes to killing people. He's a little bit emotionless about it. Like, he does kill some people and he doesn't really care. But, like, as far as crimes go, especially with what he's up against, pretty mild. He gets a 3. Oh, sounds like Nigel has opinions about this. Next up in the Best Boys category, we're still not halfway to when we start to be the Naughty Boys. We have Oro from Lightlark. Hello, Nigel. Let's see, where's Oro? Oro gets a 5 for appearance because while he is blonde, he is also very tall and definitely a wall of muscle. And the blondness doesn't quite save him, unfortunately. So he gets a 5 for that. Personality, he gets a 4. He might get lower, but sometimes he still does fall into that stereotype of just being like needlessly grumpy and needlessly cruel for no reason. It's not all the time, but it does happen, so he definitely is like above like a 1 or a 2. And for crimes, he gets a 3. He's mostly a good guy, but he did, I think, it's kind of glossed over / never mentioned in his portion of this. But in book 1, I'm pretty sure that it's heavily implied that he keeps slaves. It's not outright said, but it's kind of not there. And also, of the rulers in these books, he's one of the better ones, but he still doesn't care quite as much about his people as he could. He's still a little bit too obsessed with Isla and not enough with like trying to save his people, but he's not nearly to the level as the others around him. Except for Azul, but he's not on this list. So yeah, Oro, still within the good boys category. Next, we have a tie between James from the program and Gadriel from A Night and Its Moon. What I could remember about James from the program. So let's look at James. James got a 2 for appearance because he does not look like that stereotypical classic. His personality is a 5. He's pretty emo, he's pretty grumpy, but he's not to the level of some of these guys. There's a lot less negging going on, a lot less just downright like sexual harassment of the female lead from him. But it's not like, he's still not got a great personality. And finally, for crimes, he gets a 6. Mostly for how he behaves toward our female lead, even though she is pretty obsessed with him. He is like, anytime that she's like having big emotions, he's like, just stop it. Stop having emotions. And he's just not very helpful or like a good person, really. She's obsessed with him, but as I recall, not that great of a guy. And then we have Gadriel from A Night and Its Moon. Again, only the first book. He doesn't have so much to do in the first book, so his score would probably change if I had read more of the books, which I might still do. But he gets a 10 for appearance because he is it. He is tall. He's got dark hair, he's got wings, he probably has tattoos, I don't remember, but he is exactly the prototype for these boys. Completely stolen, 100%, from Sarah J. Maas. For his personality, he gets a 2, but that's because he's not really in the book all that much, as I recall. In the first book, he's not that big of a player, and it's for that reason he also gets a 1 for crimes, because he really doesn't have that much to do in the first book. So these two are tied. James and Gadriel are tied. Next, we are now into the naughty boys, the bad boys, the boys with the lower scores.
You're a bad man! You're a very bad man!
Leaning towards bad, we have Xaden from Fourth Wing, which I have read a couple of the Fourth Wing books, so I can give a little bit more with Xaden. Xaden gets a 10 for appearance. He's freakishly tall, he's freakishly muscular, he has dark hair, he's ambiguously brown, he's got tattoos, he's got the whole thing going on, so he's a 10. He has a 7 for personality because while he does kind of really have the stereotypical personality of these boys. He's not as bad as some of them. He still manages to have like a little, maybe something, a smidge of something that's not the stereotypical. Sometimes. Not often, but sometimes. And finally, for crimes, Xaden gets a shocking 3 because everybody's always saying that he's an awful person who does bad things, but he doesn't actually do any of it. He's not actually that crimey. In fact, he's kind of like pathetic when it comes to being like evil. He's just grumpy. He's just a little bit grumpy and everyone's decided that he's a criminal. But it's not actually true. All of the things that the main character thinks that he's done or is going to do in the first book, turns out that none of it was ever true and she made most of it up in her own head. Or heard rumors and ran with that. So, Xaden, not as far down as he could be, because people be telling lies about him. Next, we have our boy, Grimothy from Lightlark. He gets a 10 for appearance. He is tall, muscular, dark-haired, not ambiguously brown, but he has shadow powers, which pushes him back up to a 10. Then we have personality. He's also at that 10. He's just a jerk. For no good reason, because we think that creepy guys who stalk you and neg you are sexy. Why? And also, like, treat other people badly, treat everyone badly except the girl that he likes, and would, like, screw everyone else over if it meant pleasing her because he's just obsessed with her. He is the 10 of that personality scale. And finally, he's only getting an 8 for crimes because in one of the books, he decides to be a good leader for some reason. The rest of the time, he's awful, but he gets retconned in, I think, like, Skyshade, is it? Where he's, like, actually doing good things and trying to protect his people for some reason. So I dropped him down to an 8. Next, we have Cross from Silver Elite. I feel like he would be worse if he had more of a personality. So let's go find Cross's score here. Where are you, Cross? Cross, once again, gets a 10 for appearance. He's all of the things. He's all the things. All these boys look the same. He also gets a 10 for personality. Everything is there. The jerk for no reason, the negging, the sass, the flirty banter, quote unquote, the being mean to everybody except her, and he's mean to her at first, but not for very long, and also just, like, absolutely obsessed with her, like, immediately, so he's a 10, and I gave him a 9 for crimes, because while he is a Nazi, he's really lazy about it. Just, like, he's complicit 1000%, but he doesn't actually do a whole lot. He's kind of a useless Nazi. Like, he's around, he's on their side, but he's kind of not useful. So he got a 9. Next we have all the Zodiac boys from the Zodiac Academy, the first book. I only read the first one. All of the boys, because they are the same boy. They all get a 10 for appearance, because, yeah. They also got a 10 for personality. They are all dicks. Dicks all the time, because it's a bully romance. So, like, maybe occasionally they might do something nice, but it's only to lull you into a false sense of security before they are jerks again. Why the girls fall in love with these boys, I will never ever understand. And they are also a 10 for crimes, because they will do everything up to and including attempted murder or actual murder. I don't know, they might do actual murder in the next books. But yeah, they not only bully the girls, they legitimately try to kill them at certain points. So 10 for crimes. Crimes. And you might be thinking, but Julian, that's like a perfect score. How could anybody beat that score? I'll tell you how. I broke out of my own scoring system for our final boy. And that is Kai from Powerless. So of course, Kai scores a 10 for appearance. You know what he looks like, because they all look like that. He scores a 10 for personality. You know what I'm talking about, because they all have that same personality. But then I busted out of my own rating system for Kai to give him a 12 in crimes. Because not only is he a Nazi, he is a Nazi enforcer. He's the Gestapo. He's out there doing Nazi things. I'm going to get this video demonetized for saying that word so much. He's out there doing Yahtzee things. I'm going to say Yahtzee. The beginning scene with him is literally the scene from Inglourious Bastards, and he is the Yahtzee there to end the life of a little girl who's hiding under the floor.
I, on the other hand, love my unofficial title, precisely because I've earned it.
And we're supposed to root for him? We're supposed to be like, oh, well, he's a good guy, because instead of just offing her immediately, he sends her and her family out into a deadly desert from which very few people survive with nothing but a knife. Like, I know from watching other people's reviews that in later books, the author has that girl reappear and be like, oh yeah, we totally made it across the desert and everything's fine and we're super happy here. Yeah, you're not an evil person. And I'm like, yeah, that's the author being like, oh, it still looked really bad that he did that. So I'm going to have it be like he made the right choice, and he totally helped that family by sending them out into a scenario where they should probably have died. In book 1, he is fully just a Yahtzee, and we do not approve of romances with that type of people. Why is that attractive? That's awful. It's awful. It's disgusting. Throw Kai into the trash and then light the trash on fire. Why are people attracted? I don't care if in later books he gets like a redemption arc. I don't know if he does. It's probably more just like a personality transplant arc, like, you know, happened in the A Court of Whatever and Whatever books. But we will not forget. We will never forget how not only was his father a committer of genocide, but Kai was enforcing it. Kai was going out into the street and finding people, ripping them from their homes, and ending their lives for being the wrong sort of people. And we're supposed to be like, well, he took pity on that one child and her family and sent her out into a super deadly scenario where she probably shouldn't have survived, but she did because the author knew how bad that looked. No! No! Awful, terrible, disgusting, gross, hate, hatred seeping from my body. Not enough people are mad enough about Kai as a love interest, quite frankly. And so, did I make this video just so I could bitch about it some more and be like, why are we not madder about Kai as a love interest? Yes.
Boo! Boo! Rubbish! Filth! Slime! Muck! Boo! Boo!
But also, I hope that this was fun. I hope that we had fun. Were you surprised at who was the best boy? Like, Meg, come back to the internet. You've wrote the best boy. We need you back. Write us some more. But yes, okay. If you are interested in reading a romance, wait a minute, where the romantic male lead does not, like, he would probably score a 1 in all of these categories: appearance, personality, and crimes, you should check out The Wolf and the Hawk, which is my book. It's a low-spice fantasy romance, so if you gotta have spice in your books, this is not the one for you. But if you're still here and interested, I like it. I think it's very cute. I think it's a fun read. You know, it's not super long, not super challenging. Give it a look. Definitely not the stereotypes that you're used to. So if you want to change things up and not read the same thing, but still read a really fun romance, The Wolf and the Hawk is here for you. All right, I got to try and show my book somehow. Nobody's doing it for me. Thank you all for watching today with me, and I hope that you had a fun time. I sure did. I made a whole spreadsheet. That's my commitment level to this nonsense. If you would like to see even more of me, you can check me out on my Patreon or become a channel member where you get exclusive videos not seen here on the regular channel. I've got another exclusive that's filmed. I just need to actually get around to editing it. Again, the time thing. I try to get out like at least one patron/channel member exclusive a month. 2 if I can wrangle it. That's not always how it goes, but check that out if you're interested. And of course, you can read all of my books. There are many available now on Amazon. And if you would like, I'm also a developmental editor, so you can find me on Fiverr and see if we would be a good fit for your story. So maybe you can craft a guy who scores a 1 in all of these categories. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time with whatever it is I happen to be doing next time. Bye!
Why are you looking at me like that? Because you gotta kiss a klepto?
I'm not a klepto.
Then what? Cut it out! What?
She probably just wants to know about my patrons. Patrons like Sharka OC.
Pachinko, and I'm gonna take a stab at this one. Please tell me how to pronounce this correctly. Heike? Please let me know.
Airy 925. Indigo Marmot. Adriana. Laura. Wanda. Chocotina. Clara. Lisa. Jen, Tex, Moon Island, Zenith, Ashley Bunnet, Nemo, Tactical Hot Dog, Haley History Nerd, Pixelizzy, Raya, Christina, Cameron,
Lady Kragan, Lunar Muse, AJ, Marshy, Semidark, GK, Scout, Annika, Jen, Tina, Laknanga, SB Boots, Martha Baggins, July, Bird Anonymous, Sarah, Kat, 78 kilograms of shade, Veda, Ingrid, Roma, Haley, Sam, Kira, Mooney, Pudamancer, Kirsten, Bear, Jojo Bookish, Robin, Ursula, Caitlin, Jessica, KJ, Mufflier, Celia, Deborah, Swamp Goblin Waifu, Sophia, Merween, Kit, Light Julie, Patrick, Callison, Vampire Antihero, Shelby, Jesper, Rennie, Scribbling Cat, Savvy, Jenny, and Amanda. We're also welcoming a new patron, Icy Glaceon 471, and I try to remember to offer my patrons an opportunity to shout out themselves or someone that they're really excited for, and Pachinko has opted to tell everyone about someone called Kim. I'm going to probably pronounce this wrong. Yoon Mai? I'm sorry. I tried to look at the pronunciation and failed, but I'm sure that one exists and I just didn't find it. I will be putting all this person's links below. They're a very cool individual, originally from Korea, now an immigrant to the United States, doing a whole bunch of really, really cool stuff when it comes to writing and literature and world building, especially. They're also Gray Ace, Gray Arrow, so like they're also, here with us under the asexual umbrella, so we love to see it. So go check out my links below for this person because they're doing a lot of very, very cool stuff, like too much for me to talk about at the end of a video, but go check them out. They're very cool.